Well, good morning, Richmond County residents. It's Celeste Hotel coming to you with our brand new series called Age Friendly Community Conversations. And today, this is our third episode in the series. Our first episode involved Becky interviewing me to talk a little bit about what this series was all about and why we were doing it. And our last episode included a researcher from Dalhousie University that was talking about the Acting Collectively project. And today I have a brand new guest, and I'm really excited to have Nicole with us, and I'll introduce her in a minute. But before I do that, I just wanted to again recap as to why we're doing this series called Age Friendly Community Conversations. As many of you know, and for those of you that are familiar with the work with Seniors Take Action Coalition, for the last number of years, part of what we've been doing is really promoting an age-friendly community. We have a large percentage of seniors that live in Richmond County. In fact, 46% are over the age of 55 years old, and about 32% are actually over the age of 65 years old. So for us, it's really important that we do whatever we can to get information out to seniors and to really promote aging well in community, aging well in place, and what we call an age-friendly community. So what is an age-friendly community exactly? Well, in my first show, I talked a little bit about the various ingredients of an age-friendly community. And what's really important about an age-friendly community is that when we make those necessary changes or offer those services and programs that are going to be really beneficial to older adults, the whole community benefits. So it's even though age-friendly communities were coined by the World Health Organization, if you will, to support the aging population globally, it really is about promoting services that are going to benefit everybody in your community. So one of those important services of an age-friendly community, or one of those important components of an age-friendly community, is something we call transportation. Because as you know, as we get older, transportation can become a barrier for many people. As we age, people may um, no longer feel confident in their driving, or because of, having to take medication because of pain management or other type of chronic illness, they may feel as though their driving could be impaired, so they're not comfortable driving. People's eyesight declines as we age, so people are less inclined to want to get out there in the evening and drive to activities. And then, of course, we live in a very rural community, as everybody knows. So even getting from one place to another can be problematic, particularly if you're dealing with weather conditions and with climate change the way it is. We know they're having more and more weather events with heavy rains and winter and stuff. So a lot of times our older adults find themselves almost hibernating through the winter, if you will. But that's not really something that's necessary because there's a service available that makes it very easy for people to get to point A to point B, which is precisely why I thought it was important to invite Nicole Briand. Is it Briand or Briand? How do you pronounce your last name?
Beyond.
Briand, who is the general manager at Strait Area Transit right here in our community, to come and chat with us today to talk a little bit about their organization and how they can support older adults to age well in place. So without further ado, I want to welcome Nicole to our third episode on transportation. And I'm going to start off by asking you to tell us a little bit about Strait Area Transit.
Absolutely, Celeste. Firstly, I'd like to thank you for having me this morning to chat about Strait Area Transit. So Strait Area Transit is a nonprofit community-based transit system. It started in 2007, and the goal is to provide all-inclusive, safe, reliable, accessible, environmentally friendly transportation for all services of the Strait area, one of which being Richmond County. We do cover Richmond County, Inverness County, and the town of Port Hawkesbury.
Okay. So when you said it's a not-for-profit
Mhm.
organization, so tell me a little bit more about that. Like, where does your funding come from, example?
Yeah, so we have several different streams of funding. We have the CTAP app, funding, which is the Community Transportation Assistance Program. So that is through the provincial government. So we do get a large sum of funding to run through that program yearly. And then we also have big contributors with Richmond County, the municipality of Richmond County, the municipality of the County of Inverness, and the town of Port Hawkesbury. And of
Oh,
course, our
great.
residents who pay their fares to travel.
And when you have a number of vehicles on the road, so where does the money come from for the vehicles, to purchase the vehicles?
Yeah, so there is several different funding programs for the vehicles. So we have an ATAP program, the Accessible Transportation Assistance Program, which we can have, it's twice a year. You can apply for the dial-a-ride service to have up to $75,000 to support a vehicle
Okay.
twice a year. And then we also have a PTAP funding, which is the Public Transit Assistance Program. And that is for a fixed route. So we do currently have a fixed route running from Port Hawkesbury to Inverness County, but we don't currently have a fixed route in Richmond County. We have just the dial-a-ride service.
Yeah.
They're run pretty similarly, just a little bit more structured on the fixed route side. And that is $50,000 a year for that side of it. And then there's also a new funding program which came out around 2023, the Rural Transit Solutions Fund, and that is a big one through the federal government. And Strait Area Transit actually purchased 3 new Ford Transits through that program within the last 2 years. And we also have 2 16-passenger buses on order as well through that program, which should be hopefully here by the end of the summer.
So it sounds as though, community transportation is supported by all three levels of government, which is really, really great to see because, from a federal perspective, there's some responsibility for transportation. From a provincial, there is as well. And then municipally, of course, it's important because it's the
Yeah,
constituents that are benefiting from the service. That's really helpful. So are there
absolutely.
similar programs like Straight Area Transit throughout the province?
Yeah, actually, Celeste, there's 22 community transportation providers across the province. We're actually members of the Rural Transportation Association. It lists all the service providers, and we actually have a website. The RTA website is ruralrides.ca, and it lists all the information about each service provider on there.
Oh, okay, great, good.
Yeah,
So doesn't matter where you live in Nova Scotia, particularly, and these are focused on
they are,
rural
yes.
communities as well. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's great. So you're the general manager at Strait Area
Mhm.
Transit. How long have you been there, Nicole?
So I have been with Strait Area Transit since 2021. I actually started with Strait Area Transit as the dispatcher. So I was communicating directly with the clients, taking the phone calls, answering the emails, and booking the clients their rides. From there, I was promoted to the manager in 2023. So currently, I do more of the day-to-day operational side of the business. But I do still help out with the dispatching when needed.
Actually, that was going to be one of my questions. So
Yeah.
before we actually get into the service that you actually
Mhm.
provide, when somebody calls Straight Area Transit, and get a dispatcher, how does that conversation typically go? Like, because some people may not know what it is they're asking for or what have you. So,
Yeah, so myself and my dispatcher, Donna, we're pretty good at prompting if for more information as needed. So typically someone will call in, we'll say hello, exchange pleasantries, and kind of they'll give us their request, kind of tell us the situation where they're looking to go, the date, the time frame, the locations. All that information is exchanged back and forth. And then, of course, if we need more information, we'll follow up with questions.
good.
Yeah.
So that kind of brings us into the different services that you offer. You mentioned a
Yeah.
fixed route in Inverness, but is it referred to as book a ride or dial a ride?
Dial a ride.
Dial a ride. So
Yeah.
tell us more about what is dial a ride.
Yeah. So dial a ride is we do start with the first request that comes in. Obviously, we do have limited resources of vehicles and drivers. So we take requests that come in. We do book on a first come, first served basis. So the more advance notice someone can give us on what they're looking for, the better chances we'll be able to accommodate that request. We do try to send vehicles to areas where there's more demands. So if there's a group of people, say in Arashat looking to travel, we would try to send a vehicle there because it is a group. Um, So yeah, people call us, we take a look at our schedule, we have it all laid out and booked in, the time frames. Something that I really try to do and Donna really tries to do is if someone requests something and it's not something we can accommodate, we do try to look at like a time that we can kind of offer them as a substitute, or like a different day that may also work for them. We do try to work with people to get them where they need to go when they need to be there.
So, if somebody wants to book a ride and
Mhm.
say they have a medical appointment, for example,
Right.
so they live in, let's say hypothetically, they live in St. Peter's, but
Mhm.
they have a medical appointment in Antigonish. Does your service go to Antigonish, or is it just within Richmond County,
So
Strait area?
our yeah, so our service, we do go outside of our area, but it is at a different price point. So locally within our area is a $9 flat rate one way.
Okay.
So a round trip being $18. Outside of our area, so anywhere's past the causeway or anywhere's past, I believe it's about Red Islands on the other side of it, or the other end of it is a little bit past. I believe it's Blue Mills area. So
Okay.
anywhere is kind of on the outskirts is when we start getting into it's $1 per kilometer
Okay.
outside of our area.
Okay, so because it's a straight area, it includes Inverness. So
Yeah.
I'll repeat the question then. Say somebody has to go for a doctor's appointment or a test at the Inverness hospital. Would that be the $9? If
Yes, it
because
would.
okay, so
Yeah.
it's only if it's outside the straight area that you're looking at different fee
Yeah.
structures.
Yeah.
Okay, so they pay $9 to go, and
Mhm.
then they will arrange for a pickup at a time that they've pre-negotiated, and then there's another $9. Is there any financial support available for people who are on lower income?
Absolutely. We do have a fare assistance program, which is run through our Rural Transportation Association. So the amount that we receive does vary yearly. And we do reports for the RTA, which kind of shows, the percentage of what we're using, if kind of where the funds are going. So there is a certain threshold of income that people would need to be under to qualify for that. And there is an application that they need to fill out, which they can request and we can send it to them by mail, by email. They can drop by our office and pick up an application to fill out and bring back to us. And then it just comes back to myself and I review everything. And if they qualify, we can provide up to 75% of the transportation through the program.
Okay, and is there like a monthly, like say somebody was wanting to really start to use straight area transit as their main um, means of transportation, like for some reason they've had to give up their license or whatever. Is there a monthly fare schedule or something like that?
Yeah, we have a monthly pass. It's currently $200, and that is unlimited travel within our area. So that would be local, straight area. If they did go outside the area, it would be again at the different price point. But they can travel
Okay.
unlimited for a calendar month for $200 within our area.
So that's a lot cheaper than a car payment and car insurance and gas.
Yes, it is.
Wow, that's a pretty good deal, I'd say. And you don't have to drive. Somebody else is driving
Yeah,
you. You kind of feel like you're being chauffeured. I don't know.
absolutely.
I think that sounds like a pretty good deal to me. So,
Yeah.
um, one of the things that I've noticed since working with Seniors Take Action Coalition is that a lot of people still don't know about straight area transit. And even though you've been around for a long time and are providing a what I consider to be an essential service, um, people don't really understand, what the process is and that they really technically have available this service to them. So this is 5 days a week at the present time. Is that correct?
Yeah, so we currently run Monday to Friday. We do close on holidays, and we also shut down around for about 2 weeks around Christmas time, just to give all the staff a little break because they go so hard all year and they're constantly
Hmm.
going and they go above and beyond to make sure everyone needs gets where they need to go. So we like to give them a little kind of downtime around Christmas, and it does get quieter because a lot of people have family come home and what have you around that
Exactly.
time of the year.
What about the hours of operation? Like when would be the earliest pickup
Yeah.
that you would do?
So, kind of two sets of that, Celeste. We have the office hours of operation, which is Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4:30. And then we have our like dial-a-ride office, or sorry, dial-a-ride service hours. So typically the drivers start usually between 5 and 6 a.m. We'll start doing first runs, and we do try to wrap up the end of the day for them. Typically, last runs are about 4:35 p.m. Like kind of pickups, take them where they need to go so that they can be home by about 6, 7.
Okay, that's a long day.
Yeah,
So
it is a
yeah,
long day. Yeah.
yeah. So so you offer the dollar ride, and then you mentioned the fixed route in Inverness. Are there any other services that Straight Area Transit offers? Like, do you have like let's say a seniors club, for example, wanted to organize an outing for a number of people. Is that something you do?
Yeah, absolutely. We do charter services. Again, those do come at a higher price point because they're for private events. And we do those in about 5 hour time blocks. So for
Okay.
those, it isn't so much where you go, it's more the time we kind of
Hmm.
base it on. So we do currently have 8 passenger and 6 passenger vehicles. But again, we are having our buses ordered by the summer, which is a big attraction for those events because we can transport more people, and splitting the cost amongst 16 people is usually a better idea than splitting it amongst 6 or 8. So,
Yeah, or somebody
yeah,
was having, wanted to transport wedding guests or things like that. Something
yeah, that's
else
a
you'd
big
be
one
able
for
to do.
us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's about all the questions that I have for you at this time. Is there anything that I haven't covered that you'd like to share with the viewers?
Um, I don't think so. I think we pretty much covered it pretty
Mm-hmm.
well.
Yeah.
Um, I would just like to mention, if anyone watching is looking to book, there is several ways you can. So, you're welcome to pop into our office. We are in the Walmart Shopping Center, 47 Paint Street, Port Hawkesbury. We're Unit 24, right across from Glorious Flower Designs. We accept phone calls, so 902-625-1475. And we also accept emails to dispatcher@sapbus.ca. So several ways people can book if they're looking to travel.
Yeah, and so before we wrap up, kind of on the same theme of age-friendly
Yeah.
communities, I just wanted to share with folks that a lot of the work that we do as Seniors Take Action Coalition is to collaborate and partner with our community partners. And we're really excited to be partnering with Straight Area Transit in planning an event next week on May 28th called our second annual Health and Wellness Community Expo for older adults. And they have very kindly offered a free shuttle, well, not a shuttle service, but a free book a ride slash shuttle service for older adults wishing to attend out of Ayrshire and out of St. Peter's. So there are going to be two pickup points. One is the New Horizons Club in Ayrshire, and one is the Bonnie Bray Seniors Club in St. Peter's. There's going to be a pickup at 9:30 and then a later one in the day if there's a demand for the service. So that is a free service that is being offered to people who want to come to the community showcase. All you have to do is call and say that you'd like to attend that event and make arrangements with them, and they'll send a driver out to pick up people at both of those locations. This is something we're trying for the first time, so we're hoping there'll be an uptake and that people will see this as an important service that we can offer to folks. And if anybody has any questions about it, all they have to do is to call Straight Area Transit and make the inquiries. As again, it's free and there's two central pickup points. So we're excited about that. And we're also excited that they're going to be joining us on May 28th. So for all of you that are attending and have any questions that we weren't able to cover in our chat this morning, both Nicole and Donna will be there and they're
Yep.
happy to chat with you. So I'd like to thank you, Nicole, for joining us this morning for our third episode of Age-Friendly Community Conversations. We know that transportation is an important point, an important ingredient to an age-friendly community. And we're very fortunate in Richmond County to have straight area transit services available. And I'd like to see more people take advantage of them because it's a great service, and we're very appreciative of everything that you do. So on that note, I wish you a wonderful day and thanks to all the viewers, and I'll see you again next time when I invite my next guest. That's all for now, folks.